cheap food is, I think, the most difficult issue we have to face. It can never be cheap. It can be affordable, but it can never be cheap.
There are few people in the world who've been as passionate about locally sourced organic ingredients for as long as Alice Waters. Sitting with her in her busy restaurant's dining room, it's hard to believe she was once a picky eater.
Do you remember when you started to fall in love with food?
I fell in love with food when I went to France. They were so particular about what restaurants you went to and how to eat and what cheese to choose. And I just came back home and wanted to live like the French.
How many years were you in France?
I was just there that 1 year.
Oh, wow, and it made that big of an impression.
But it did, and I never have forgotten the taste. And that's what I was looking for when I came home. Where is that taste? And then we found it at the doorsteps of the organic local farmers.
When Waters opened Chez Panisse in 1971, the menu was dictated by what farmers had in season. It was the start of the farm-to-table movement in America, at a time when most restaurants were serving frozen and canned vegetables. Waters says even farmers thought she was crazy, but her conviction was unyielding. She says it came from the free speech movement in Berkeley.
Was the political environment here developmental for you?
Absolutely fundamental. I thought that I could do anything I wanted to do. I just had to be determined enough to do it.
Who taught you how to cook?
Well, I was lucky. I was lucky that I was given a wonderful cookbook. So I just opened that book and I started cooking.
That's how you learned to cook, from a cookbook?
But it was yes, I did. I really did.
While the menu has changed every night for more than 40 years at Chez Panisse, the core principles remain the same. Locally sourced meat and produce, picked at the peak of season. Every dish, like this chicken weighted by hot brick with butternut squash gratin, heirloom broccoli, and black olives, has to pass a chef's tasting.
Be careful about salt.
If the natural flavors aren't highlighted properly, the dish won't be served. As the farm-to-table movement spread across the nation, Waters gained national attention. While she was applauded for her culinary innovations, like bringing the mesclun salad to America, she was also sharply criticized. Some said her obsession with organic was elitist.
I'm sure you've heard people say, well, she's an absolutist.
I don't think of myself as an absolutist. I think of myself as an idealist. And I think of myself as always trying to do it better than we did it before. I am uncompromising about certain things, about feeding children real food. This is all kale here, and behind it are espaliered apples and pears.
Her drive to change how kids eat led to the Edible Schoolyard Project.
Here's cacao in a pod.
It allows public school students to grow and harvest vegetables. This is one of 5,000 working gardens across the country. The land used to be a parking lot.
It's an education of the senses. They're smelling, they're tasting, they're listening, they're seeing. And when those pathways to our mind are opened up, the information comes in quickly.
In addition to growing the vegetables, students are taught how to prepare and cook them as part of their curriculum.
You want to add the tomatoes now?
On the day we visited, they made Ghanaian black-eyed pea stew.
I think this is a kind of essential education that every child on this planet needs to have.
I'm sure you've had countless opportunities to expand and franchise and, God forbid, a frozen dinner or something like that. Did you ever want this to be bigger than one restaurant?
I was tempted a few times, but then no. I don't think I'd like driving around from one restaurant to another or flying to another restaurant where I didn't know anybody.
Can I ask you my dumb question now?
Yes, go ahead.
Where do you eat, like at the airport?
At the airport, I take my own food.
I knew it!
It's that level of devotion that's made Alice Waters a culinary giant. While she never expected any of the fame, she always predicted Americans would follow her.
When you talk about food, you just light up. And I think after how many years, it's still there for you.
Well, I think nature is endlessly beautiful.